Hi, my name is Adolph Oliver, and this is a video on multiplying using the FOIL shortcut method. Now, it works, first off, let's point out here, just when you have two binomials. If you have a monomial, use distributive law, and if you have any one of them that's longer than a binomial, like a trinomial, then you've got to use either vertical multiplication or the box method. But here we go. This works real nice for two binomials. Here's what happens. The F in FOIL means multiply the two first together. So here we go. 2x times x, 2x squared. That's the F, okay, in FOIL. Now, I always like to go to the two last next. So plus 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. That's the L in FOIL. Now, the O and the I are for the outer and inner products, and I like to use rainbows as guides. You've seen me using these already, but this is where I really start getting some mileage out of them. Because the big rainbow here connects the two outer guys, that's the O in FOIL. The little rainbow connects the two inner guys. So the idea is simply multiply together the guys on the end of the rainbow. 2x times negative 5, negative 10x. That's what we get on the big rainbow. The little rainbow, plus 3 times x, is plus 3x. Now, usually these two guys are like terms. X to the first power, we can combine them. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time it does. So I got plus 3x minus 10. The negative wins by 7. So minus 7x. And there is your multiplied answer. You'd get the same thing if you made a box out of this or did vertical with it. But it's quicker taking it this way. And I put these guidelines in, but when you get used to it, you won't bother doing all of that. You'll just multiply together the various parts. Well, let's get a little practice doing this FOIL method. Okay, now, one of the things we want to remind you about these shortcuts like FOIL, their best use is going to come later on when we unmultiply our answers to get the original binomials back. And why would we want to do that? Well, when we get into the quadratic equations, the second most common type that exists, the way we find the answers, or roots as we'll call those, is by factoring. And that's going the reverse of the FOIL method. But for the time being, we're just multiplying. So here we go. Couple of binomials. Again, do the two first. Negative 2x plus 4x, negative 2 plus 4 is negative 8. X times x is x squared. Do the two last. Negative 4 times negative 2 is plus 8. Then make your two rainbows. Here they go. The big rainbow, which is the O in FOIL, negative 2 times negative 2x, positive 4x. The little rainbow, negative 4 times 4, negative 16, and x. So let's double check this. Negative 2 times negative 4 is plus 4 and a single x. The little rainbow, the inner product, negative 4 times 4, negative 16, a single x. Okay, combine these. Negative is going to win by 12, so negative 12x. Okay, here's another one, couple of binomials. Again, let's multiply them together. Here are the two first. 3 times xy. Okay, here are the two last. Minus 2 times plus 1, negative 2. Here are the two rainbows. Okay, now notice, the big rainbow, I get plus 3x. The little rainbow, I get negative 2y. Well, in this particular case, notice they're not like. So I can't combine them into a single term. So that means I've got to write each of these guys down here separately. So here's the plus 3x. and then the minus 2y. So there can be cases like this one we just had where the O and the I don't combine and we have to write them both separately. Okay, well, next up we got ourselves some fractions here. So again, multiply the two first. 14 times 3 is 42 upstairs. 5 times 2 is 10 downstairs. Now, of course, we'll have to do some reducing on that coming up, but n times n is n squared. Okay, let's do the two last. Here we go. Negative times negative gives me positive. 5 times 5 is 25, and 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, now let's get the two rainbows. The big rainbow, the outer product, is going to be negative. 5 times 40 is going to be 70 upstairs. 4 times 5, 20 downstairs, and it's n. Now, the little rainbow, the inner product, negative 5 times 3, so we get negative 15 over 3 times 2, this is 6, and n. Well, we can combine these, but we need a common denominator. So up here where I have a little bit of room, let's look at the coefficients, do a little bit of basic math. Negative 70 over 20, okay, and then negative 15 over 6. Okay, well, let's see. I think the LCD, the first that they're going to hit here is going to be 60. So LCD equals 60. So that means that this first guy, we got to multiply him top and bottom by 3. And the second guy, top and bottom by 10. Okay, so I'm going to end up with negative 3 times 70, 210. 3 times 20, 60 downstairs. The second guy, he was negative also. 15 times 10 is 150 upstairs. 6 times 10 is 60 downstairs. So what do we end up with? Well, a total of negative, what is it? 360 all over 6. Okay, 360 over 60. Okay, well, guess what? 60 goes once here and it goes 6 times here. So we end up with negative 6. All those guys reduce to that. So in the center, negative 6 n. Well, the last guy can't be reduced, but the first guy can. We can reduce the 2 top and bottom. 2 goes in the top, 21, and the bottom 5. So our final answer to this one right here, okay, is going to end up being 21 over 5 n squared minus 6n plus 25 over 12. Okay, so when you get fractions, you may have to do a little bit of work like we've done here. Okay, let's take a look at one last example here with some decimals in it and see how we handle this. Okay, once again, multiplying the two first together. Now, 3.7 times 5.3. Now, 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 is 11. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3. 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 is 18. So it looks like I get 1691, and there are 2 decimal places. So 19.61 y squared. Okay, multiply the 2 last together. Well, again, do a little bit of math off on the side. 7.7 times 6.1 7.7. 6 times 7 is 42. 42 and 4 makes 46. So we have 7, 9, 6, and 4. And again, I need 2 decimal places. So it looks like we got 46.97. Okay, lastly, the 2 rainbows. Here they go. And once again, we're going to need to do a little bit of math. On the big rainbow, I get plus 6.1. They're all positive. Okay, so 6.1 times 3.7. This is on the big rainbow. So I get 7. 6 times 7 is 42. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. So I'm getting here 752. 22.57. Okay, and that's a single Y. Now, on the little rainbow, 7.7 times 5.3. Okay, 3 times 7 is 21. 21 and 2 makes 23. 5 times 7 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 5 is 35, and 3 makes 38. So I get 1804, 40.81. So plus 40.81. Okay, and that of course has a single Y. Well, let's add these together to get our center. 1 plus 7 is 8. Remember, this was a plus in the end here. 8. 5 and 8 is 13. Carry the 1. 2 and 1 is 3. And 4 and 2 is 6. And this is a plus. Okay, and of course we had a single Y here. So here it is. Again with decimals, you might have to do a little work off on the side or dust off your calculator. But anyway, here it is, the FOIL method, same way.